I call the January 17th, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Have the roll call, please.
Commissioner Barlow?
Here.
Commissioner Bradshaw?
Here.
Commissioner Helms?
Here.
Commissioner Hassett?
Present.
Commissioner Hubbard? Here. Commissioner Martin? Commissioner Patillo?
Here.
Commissioner Alexander? Here. Commissioner Morse? And Chairperson Gillette?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. And we will now have an automated announcement message.
Anyone who has not signed in, please do so at the table located in the lobby. Should anyone wish to speak, please complete a request to speak form, which is also located on the lobby table next to the sign-in sheet. A request to speak form must be completed for each item you would like to speak on. Please note, there are stairs on the right, left, and center aisles, and we ask that you use caution when using the stairs. There is also a ramp located to the audience's left. If anyone has written comments, exhibits, petitions, photos, or letters they intend to present at today's meeting, have 17 copies and give them to a staff member at the back of the auditorium. Staff member, please hold up your hand for the audience. If you do not have 17 copies, you may use the overhead camera to present your documents. Please place your documents on the podium and line it up with the arrows indicated. If you want your documentation to go on record, you must hand them to the clerk after your presentation with the agenda item number clearly marked on the documentation. Members of the public cannot speak to staff members that are seated at the tables with microphones during the meeting. If you have questions, please see the staff member located in the back of the auditorium. All speakers will be limited to 2 minutes to make their presentation statements. Everyone, please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate during the meeting. If you must take a call, please leave the meeting area and go outside to have your conversation. We also ask the audience to refrain from talking with one another during the presentations and discussions. Today, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hear public testimony and then forward a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. Everyone attending the meeting is asked to remember that the administrative building and campus are tobacco-free areas, which means no smoking is allowed from curb to curb. No food or drinks are allowed in the auditorium except for bottled water. If there are any items remaining on the agenda, the Commission will break for lunch for 1 hour per the Chairman's discretion.
Today, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hear public testimony and then forward a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. The items with a recommendation made by the Commission will be heard by the Board of Supervisors on Monday, February the 5th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. in the same location with the exception of any continued items. Today, I would like to welcome a new commissioner to our commission. His name is Bo Helms. Welcome, Bo.
Thank you.
We are not going to approve the minutes, or we're going to continue them to the February 14th meeting. We will now hear item number 1, staff report by Alex Bolin.
Item 1 is an evaluation of a request for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 402-32042 to allow for 3 billboards in a C2H highway commercial zone in the Littlefield vicinity. Staff received 30 letters of opposition and 3 letters of support. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I will open the public hearing. Do we have, and we do have some people requesting to speak. Is the petitioner here? And do you wish to speak? Would you like to? Oh, you want to wait? Okay. Then the first person who has signed up is Mike Black, and the next person will be Jamie Lero.
Hello, good morning. Michael Black. I have property in the area.
We need your address, please.
Address 8321 Black Brothers Court, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Thank you.
Okay. I am for the billboards. I have a business in Beaver Dam. It's the Beaver Dam Lodge, Golf Course, and RV Park, and we need signs to get the traffic to come to us off of the freeway. So I'm here to support the billboards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie Linwell, and the next person will be Brenda Learwill. I know I'm pronouncing your last name incorrectly. I'm sorry.
My name is Jamie Lurwell. I have an address at 573 North Sierra Bonita Lane, and we are for the billboards. We understand the advertisement is key for businesses.
Thank you. Brenda? It's not Brenda then, huh? Brandon?
My handwriting's exceptional, thank you. Brandon Lurwell, 573 North Sierra Bonita Lane, Beaver Dam. I am for the billboards. With the recent influx of corporate business along the highway, it's critical to have signage to support the local business of Beaver Dam and direct the public there. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jared, is it Jared Black?
Jared Black, 452 Old Highway 91 North, Littlefield, Arizona. I'm in support of the billboards. I have property around the corner. And if you look pretty much anywhere in the country, every freeway exit has plenty of the same things. It's common almost everywhere you go. So I support the billboards. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Good morning, Honorable Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Kathy Tackett Hicks. I'm acting as the owner's agent. I am aware of the letters that came in opposition. I would say that many of those are duplicates. They also, if there are 2 owners on a property, they sign 2 sheets, et cetera, et cetera. I think 3 of those parcels are within 300 feet. The other ones are outside. For your edification, a few years back, there was a request for 4 billboards on this site, on this parcel. The parcel's over 23 acres. It has direct frontage on I-15 and Farm Road. The county maintains Farm Road. This site has existing C28 zoning, and throughout, I've processed numerous items in the Littlefield Beaver Dam area. And if you look at the general plan for this area, it's commercial all along this frontage. What makes the area unique is that there's only 5 or 6 miles that these businesses can capture traffic. I presented the same types of positioning on the TA truck stop that this commission did pass, and just so you know, a C of O was issued for that building just last week. So that project's up and running in Littlefield, which is really exciting. The Terrible Herbst site, which is just to the west of this, is also proceeding with plans and everything. That area is growing. is there a map that we can show, or I can, yeah, I've got one in here. Shows that the general plan has frontage, it's commercial. This particular site with the county ordinance is absolutely perfect for billboards. It has an existing C2H zoning, which is commercial highway frontage. There's also in this area a 700-foot buffer that runs all along the south side. Do you have a map, or I will? I'll just, so not the zoning, on the general plan here, I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Just for this little area right here. The problem is the general plan shows commercial fronting along here. This area, this map is upside down. This is a 700-foot buffer of general plan, planned area fronting along that south side. It's designed for commercial. If you look at the overall general plan area for this site, the little field, this 5 or 6 miles, it's frontage commercial all the way. The problem is you have some people with their residential homes fronting the interstate still. So we have a conflict. This site is perfect for the billboards. There's over 2,000 foot of frontage. It can technically fit, with that criteria, 5 billboards on it. 4 billboards were presented a few years ago, which were denied, but there was a recognition that 3 might work. I know I'm going on, but there's a lot to this. On this parcel right here, a 5-acre parcel, the woman there is Kay Kraus. I did speak with her. She did indicate she was going to get all the opposition again. She got it last time. She did do that. I did remind her, although she has a residential use, her property is also C2H. The one comment that they did come up with, well, there was a couple. One had to do with lighting on these billboards for the 3. There would not be any digital lighting on this, which is key. The county does require dark sky ordinance, so those lights are pointed down and would hopefully, be protecting the dark sky. Additionally, the tax revenues, she said it doesn't help anyone but the business. And that particular site has big equipment rental and sales on it. It doesn't only protect them. That site has paid last year over $21,000 in tax revenues. Those existing empty residential lots are paying about $400. Her particular lot at 5 acres paid about $1,300. There's a huge need for revenue in the county, and these types of programs help lead for that. I'm happy to answer any questions. I do believe this is an excellent location for these billboards. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Morse, Hubbard, sorry.
So they're going to be lighted? You're going to light them up?
They're not the digital type, but billboards do have lights that will shine down to show the face of the billboard to the traveling public, but not those flashing lights.
Any other questions?
I do.
Commissioner Bradshaw.
Thank you. And thanks for your presentation, Kathy. I think it speaks that number one, you've taken it down to 3 billboards. And to be fair, I am vehemently opposed to the digital boards. I think they are incredibly obnoxious. You can see them for miles and miles. The dark sky is helpful, but it is concerning that it is it's next to these residential properties. And I understand that they're in commercial zones, but there's residences there. If I were there, I certainly would not appreciate a billboard in my back window 24/7. So how do we mitigate that to where it's that these people have their what they purchased and where they are? I mean, I get that it's against the freeway and all the things, and this may be a perfect location except for the residences.
Well, there's scattered residents around there, so there's not everyone. Any properties fronting, and we have the same on 93, where you have residential properties that have driveway access onto the freeway. So those areas through growth eventually weed out. There are scattered homes here. The one woman, Kay, with her 5 acres. That is Zone C2H. She uses it as a residential. It is a chicken egg issue. I think we can, I mean, there's a lot of space on that lot with 2,000-foot frontage. You may want to consider some minimum footage away, a couple hundred feet away, so it's not placed nearby her. I looked at that, and there's still room to put 3 billboards if we had at least 200 feet away from any other surrounding lot. Even though that Zone C2H is the same as this, I think that would be helpful. 200 feet is, like 65 yards on a football field. It's a pretty good distance. I don't know what the answer, but the individual private property owner who has C2H, which has a property with an existing high intense commercial use, also has a right to develop that the way the county intends it. So it is problematic. I think one way is to have a separation of the billboard, at least a couple hundred feet, make sure it's not right next to those properties. I think that would be helpful. And then limit the number. So the site could accommodate 5. They asked for 4. It got denied. I looked at all of this before I even took on the job. I think 3 is reasonable, that it could still stay, distance away from those homes.
Thank you.
How tall are those billboards? Do you have an estimated height?
No, but they can go, staff probably has a better idea, but they can go 40, 45 feet. Yeah, something, about 45 feet. Yeah.
Chairman Gillette, Commissioner Bradshaw, the maximum height for a billboard is 45 feet.
Quick question then for the staff. Are digital boards against ordinance?
Chairman Gillette, Commissioner Bradshaw, digital boards are not against the ordinance. So if you wanted to prohibit a digital billboard at this location, that would have to be an added condition that you would make.
Is that all?
I certainly am, whether we pass this or not, and there's several other billboard options coming up, it is my adamant request that we put in at least a statement about no digital billboards on these boards specifically.
I have a concern. You say that some of these homes have access to the highway?
Yeah, so all over the county, they have property. Some of the older sites, their access is, the freeway or the highway. Now, since our roads are not like Maricopa County, they're not high speed, but 93, there's numerous properties that have frontage on 93. That's their access. And we have the same thing here in Littlefield, and Ms. Crowns has access. There is an easement on the side that she can use, but they go on to Farm and I-15. It is problematic. I would agree with Commissioner Bradshaw that you should limit these billboards to no electronic. I think those would be problematic, and they would be a bummer for the surrounding property owners. I do not believe standard lighting dressed down under the dark sky ordinance is a problem. 45 feet is really, it's not that tall considering other signs that I've processed in that area. And if we maintain a space of a couple hundred feet, I think that would be helpful as well.
Is this, I'm going to ask the staff, is this going to create a problem later on? Not only the fact that they have access to the highway, but also the fact that their zoning is not compliant with having houses on these lots?
Chairman Gillette, so the C2H zoning that the property has does allow for a residence. Most of our commercial zones, all of our commercial zones, C2H and C2 and C1, would allow for a residential use on the property. So it is commercial zoning that she has, but it's still an allowable use within that zone. As for the access, it is a frontage road. It's not the actual interstate, but time will tell as the area develops on the number of other businesses that go in the area. But that area started as residential, and as time goes on, it becomes more and more commercial.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wasn't there just a big fight on I-40 about billboards lit up and whatever in the Needles area. Didn't they have, is that statewide, or is that just a certain area? That would include this area too, wouldn't it?
Chairman Gillette, Commissioner Hubbard, I'm not aware of, excuse me, those concerns or issues that have come up. I couldn't speak to that.
Okay, Commissioner Bradshaw.
Thank you. Excuse me. So, and I get that, you know, interchanges are kind of an optimum location for billboards. I think that, you know, I'm personally not a fan of billboards, and I'll say it out loud. I think that they are overused, they're strung out, and I certainly don't appreciate them strung out across all the interstates and destroying, I think, every good thing that interstates are, which is tough anyway, because interstates are generally an industrial area. And maybe this is kind of a question for staff and the applicant. You know, how do we hold tight a billboard area? Can we do an overlay zone where there's a billboard area surrounding interchanges that makes sense, as opposed to just allowing billboards to track up and down these highways and freeways?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Bradshaw, our general plan does have scenic routes and vistas, which we designate. A lot of those areas are on interstates and highways within Mojave County. I believe this corridor, the I-40 corridor, is included in that scenic routes and vistas. In the Mojave County zoning ordinance, we designate sign-free areas as far as billboards are concerned. And we do designate several areas within the county that have that designation of not allowing those billboards along the interstates. And one of those areas is our scenic routes and vistas. I can't remember when, I wasn't here when they did it, but they did de-designate this corridor some time ago as a no sign area, so that you can have signs. I believe we have several billboards in this vicinity along the I-40 corridor in this Arizona Strip vicinity, because they took it out of that. They specifically took out this portion of I-40 from those no sign areas. And so it is allowed in this area. But we do have areas within the county that are sign free.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more follow-up, and maybe it's, so so the other question that I have, is there an option that we could put a sunset clause on these boards to where they come down in some number of years? And here's my reasoning to this. So currently, billboards are a viable reality. Obviously, they have been for the previous multiple decades. Moving forward, everyone's pulling out their phones and Googling where they want to go, not necessarily looking at billboards. And, you know, there was a letter in here that said billboards are distractions. Well, Google's worse distraction than that. But to that end, is there a sunset clause where these come down? Because right now, a billboard goes up and it never comes down, and it becomes incredible. Multiple signs are in disrepair. The lights are out. I mean, how do we move this forward for the future? And, you know, we allow these for a time and then come back for a continuation of that billboard or a removal of it at some time. It seems like at some point billboards become kind of a history.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I think it would be difficult, but staff will answer this. But the issue with this is applied for by the existing owner. So when that property changes hands, someone else owns it, and a sunset clause for a building or structure, I think will be problematic. But I don't know if staff is aware of any anything?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Bradshaw, I believe that is, we do, in our special use permits, we do allow for time frame. So you can put a time frame saying, hey, we want, this special use permit is only in effect for 3 years, and then we'll come back and revisit it for an extension of time, or you'll remove it. I believe, like Ms. Hicks, that if you put something, put a time frame on a physical structure, like a billboard, like a sign or a structure, that is difficult, because then now the property owner would have to remove that, and that's a big cost as well. So I would advise not to put time frames on physical things. We do it mostly on uses. So if they're going to be using the property for a kennel or something like that, we say, okay, you can have 3 years. We'll revisit back in 3 years to make sure this is still working. But a physical structure would be more difficult to put a time frame on.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Hassett?
Okay, so just for clarification to the other commissioners, there's been a lot of other conversation with regards to billboards. The property this is going on, it is allotted, it is allocated, you're good. She needs a special use permit. It's already commercial. There hasn't been any zoning changes. All these people that live there, when they bought the land or they did move in there, it was already commercial, which already allocates and allows for these boards, correct? So there's not really any change to this. So the only thing we're asking today is to grant the special use permit that can be allowed on the property that's already zoned that way, that's already been established there. That, I mean, there's really nothing, there's been a lot of conversation. I just want to make sure that the people that bought these homes that Commissioner Bradshaw, is in reference to, they were already aware that there was commercial there, which commercial has always been allowed to do this, correct? Put up a billboard.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Hassett, as far as the business is concerned, they can always have their business signs. The billboard always has to go through this special use permit process, but it is allowed use in that C2H zone, but it allows for the public comment. So that's the difference, where it's not just an allowed by right, it allows for this public comment period, allows for the neighbors to receive notice, and the commission and the board to decide, okay, is this a good spot for this special use permit?
Gotcha. My apologies. I meant the special use permit, not the zoning. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Gillette, Commissioner Hassett, just to clarify, the zoning for this parcel in particular was changed in 2019. So in 2019, they rezoned from AR, agricultural residential zone, to the C2H zone for the existing commercial use that's on the property.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Hubbard?
The lights, I'm opposed to the lights. And secondly, there should be a daylight on taking these things down. If you go 40, you see a Whiting Brothers still signs up. I went through there as a kid in 1948. And the signs are still up. They don't look that great. I know they're developing that property down there. It'll probably come down, but I think there should be a time frame on it.
One of the provisions in the SUP process and a condition of approval says that if at any time those become a problem, the Board of Supervisors can bring it back. So if it ever becomes unsightly or something, it can be brought back. In addition, this stretch, which runs, 20, 30 miles through Arizona from the Nevada side up to Utah, a majority of that is all federal land. So there are already areas where there will be absolutely no signage. A majority of that is that. This 6-mile stretch is where the businesses are trying to pull people off. I mean, it's a difficult situation. It really is. I understand your concern. I think when we talk about the use of billboards, this site fits it because there is already an existing big commercial facility there. So this is where we want to put this. If we limit the lights for no LEDs, I think that's significant. And if we impose some sort of limit in space, I think that's helpful. But I also think the existing property owners in a commercial area, have every right to to try to better their properties as well.
Are there any other questions? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to close the public hearing, but I am surprised that we did not have anyone from the audience speak against this after all the effort that's been put forth on it. I will now call for a motion.
Make a motion to approve item 1 with staff recommendations.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, I think we need a roll call, please.
And just to let you know, Chairperson Gillette, that Commissioner Martin and Commissioner Morse are having technical difficulties in joining us. They've been trying.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So Commissioner Barlow? Nay. Commissioner Bradshaw?
Nay.
Commissioner Helms?
Aye.
Commissioner Hassett?
Aye.
Commissioner Hubbard? Commissioner Patillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander?
Nay.
And Chairperson Gillette?
Aye.
So that leaves us at a tie.
Can I say something?
Vote for it, but we need to put those restrictions, the LED
I agree.
So what?
Madam
why don't
Chair?
you make an amendment to the motion?
Amend the motion?
I would be for
Madam-
that.
Would you like to do that?
Commissioner Hassett?
Want to
Madam,
make amendment for the 200 feet or,
Madam Chair,
and the no?
just real
Yes.
quick, Laura, I thought I heard somebody over the system. Do you want to see if that would change the vote?
Commissioner Morse, are you available?
I am.
And what would your vote be?
Aye.
Okay, then that passes. Thank you. 5-4.
But I see what you're saying and should have caught that. So that has passed. We move on to item number 2, Alex Boland.
Madam Chair, just real quick, should we check for Commissioner Martin as well?
I can see Commissioner Martin's not. I have a circle with several letters in it. That's why Commissioner Morse, I apologize, but Commissioner Martin is not on at this time.
Okay, so staff report.
Item 2 is an evaluation of a request for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 402-32110 to allow for one billboard in a C2H highway commercial zone in the Littlefield vicinity. Staff received 30 letters of opposition. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Is the applicant present, and do you wish to speak? Do you want to speak at this time or wait? You can do either of those things. So, okay, go ahead and wait, and I will, do we have anything for item number 2? We have no objections. So there's no one who has asked to speak. So I'm going to just close the public hearing and ask if the commissioners have any questions. Hearing none, I will call for a motion.
I'll make a motion with restriction of no LED lights.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Do you have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Barlow, seconded by Commissioner Alexander. That's right. All in favor say aye. Wait.
Can I get slight clarification? When you say no LED lights, are you referring to not an LED billboard or no LED downlighting?
No LED billboard.
Okay.
You said period.
You don't want LED lighting in any capacity? And another thing is, isn't the billboards that we just approved a few hundred yards down? So we approved that one with no restrictions, and this one,
Yes.
Gillette, commissioners, just to clarify, yeah, so the one property, there's the property that you just recommended approval for, to the north of this. There's also a property to the south of this parcel that has also been previously approved for a billboard. That billboard has not been constructed yet. It is possible that we could approve this special use permit, and if those other billboards get built first, this parcel would not be able to put a billboard on the property due to the spacing requirements. But it depends on if and when those billboards get built, which is why staff was able to still recommend approval. But that 500-foot spacing issue is still in play and would be determined once building permits are pulled on where the location of those permits are.
So it's a race.
Okay, thank you. Does the applicant wish to speak at this time?
Billboard
Please,
lighting.
sir, sir, I need your name and your address.
Mike Turnbow from Turnbow Signs, Turnbow Outdoor. I'm a sign company. I bought that parcel. I'm building 2 buildings on it, one for myself, for my company, and another one to lease. It's about an acre and 1.2 acres. Now, I've got a bunch of paperwork here, but when you said I had to use a computer, I go, well, I'm in trouble. I'm old school. I've got all the paperwork here. I think you've already shown that. This one here, and I don't know how to do that. If I give that to you, can you show that? Okay, this parcel here, they're adjacent. The one you just talked about is adjacent. Now, I've met with the county for about the last 6-8 months. I had to go, I wanted to make sure I had my septic system set up properly. I've done all my topo map, all my building requirements. The only thing I have not finished is a leach field, and I've got to do a perk test on the property, okay? So I'm almost ready to apply for a permit on that. But on the one corner of the property, I want to put my billboard, okay? It's between 2 cross streets. Of course, it faces the freeway. One is on Chola, Farm is in the front, and I believe it's Willow on the other side. On the billboards, just to let you know, billboards lighting does not light down. They 100% light up. They're called, they're either halides or they're LEDs. So the only thing they're going to light is the face of the sign. They're not going to light the ground. But unfortunately, as I develop this, I'll probably have to put some kind of parking lights in there. And I've checked on that, and I'll be doing the same thing that I do for signage up in Zion Park. There's a small light that fits this way that shoots straight down, does not defer any direction, because we had a fight on that for the last 3 or 4 years. So as far as lighting, I don't think we'll have a problem whether it would be their billboards or mine. The spacing on the billboard is not a problem. I've spent the last month and a half, I can hold this up because you can see it. I have a state permit already for my sign. Nobody else has a permit on anything. Even the one south of me does not have a permit, and the 3 north that you just talked about doesn't have a permit. I had to fill out paperwork. I'm not putting electronic on there. That goes through the state. The state will tell you whether you can do an electronic or not, okay? And I've got the permit. I've just got to get the special use permit for the billboard. So until, nobody can do anything until I either drop this or do my sign. But as far as the people, I mean, I couldn't believe how many contested, but they don't show. So there was 2 people that I talked to that told me it wouldn't be a problem, and I have them here on the paperwork, but evidently it became a problem, that were in that 300-foot corridor. But the rest of them were people quite a ways away from the property. So I didn't really consider them a problem. But I want to develop it. I want to lease one building and then use the other for myself. And I'm going to do that regardless. So, I mean, I'm into it too deep right now. I'm going to get it done. But I would like the billboard. Now, I don't know. I know that the billboard south of me is 846 feet away. So there is a special use permit in there, but he doesn't have a permit. So it doesn't do any good if you don't have a permit. I have the permit for my sign.
Right.
Okay? Anything north they'll have to be 500 foot north of the one that you give me, and then go 5, 5, and 5. Okay? Now there's one way for you to handle this. I don't like telling you, and I don't want to do it. I'm in St. George and I live in St. George, okay? St. George passed rules and regulations to change the spacing, which they want billboards, they just don't want. Okay, so what they did is they went in and they put the spacing at 1,000 feet. Now, the county can supersede the UDOT, but on their rules. Do you see what I mean? They can space them without a problem, so long as that's a law. But at this point right now, your spacing is at 500 feet. If you want to change that down the road, that can be done.
Okay, thank you, sir. Commissioner Alexander?
Yes, we have a motion and a second on
Yeah.
the floor, but, which kind of confuses things. But if the person making the motion would like to clarify what is meant by LED, I think we're using a misnomer here. It should be a digital sign rather than an LED lighting. And unfortunately, I seconded that motion. How can we clarify that? I understand this gentleman is saying he's not interested in a digital sign. So even though we didn't put that on the other signs, that I don't feel like it would harm this individual.
Madam Chair, if I just kind of clarify, I do agree that, yeah, we need to clarify better, not just LED, because a lot of people use LED to just even light their signs from the outside, but make it a digital, that digital would not be allowed, a digital billboard. The other thing is, if you do decide to put that condition on this item and would like to go back to the previous item, you can do so. One of the prevailing votes, so somebody that voted in favor of the last item can motion to bring it back for reconsideration, and then the commission can vote on that. And then you can place that same condition on the last one if you would like as well.
But the correct wording would be digital, no digital sign?
Yes, digital. Yeah, no digital billboard allowed.
Okay, well,
So at this time, it would be up to Commissioner Barlow if he would like to amend his motion to make it digital rather than no LED lights, and then Commissioner Alexander would then agree to her second, or her amending her second, then we can go forward. It just depends.
okay.
Yes, I'll agree
To change it to, from LED to no digital. Yeah, okay.
Yes, and I will amend my second as
Okay,
well.
thank you. Have I called for the vote? It's been so long, I've forgotten. Okay, so with that change, thank you, sir, we appreciate. With that change, I'm going to ask for, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so moved. And I also would like to go back, as Scott has said, and see if we can change the verbiage on the previous item number 1.
So, Madam Chair, you just need to make a motion. I believe you were on the prevailing vote.
Yes.
So just make a motion to bring, to reconsider. Yeah, make a motion to reconsider item 1.
Okay, then I make a motion to reconsider item 1. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so we are going to redo the motion by Commissioner Hassett to say no LED,
Okay, what do you want it to say now?
no LEDs.
No digital?
digital.
No, okay. So I am amending a previous motion to reflect no digital signage, even though Kathy wasn't going to do digital.
And do
All
we
right,
have a
Second.
Yes. So you, okay. All right, all in favor of changing item number 1, say aye.
Chairman,
Aye.
Chairman, real quick, just so we're clear, just so we make it completely clear on this one, when an item's reconsidered, the previous motion falls out. So we would, basically,
Okay.
we would
You
need
would
a
have to
new
do the whole
motion.
motion.
Motion to approve with the condition of no digital sign.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
I make a motion to approve item 1 with staff recommendations and the restriction from this commission that there are no digital signs installed.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Hassett, seconded by Commissioner Petrillo. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So moved. We will now move on to item number 3. Amy Patsy.
Item number 3 is an evaluation of a request for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 402-58042 to allow for an RV park in an AR agricultural residential zone in the Beaver Dam vicinity. Staff has received 3 letters of opposition to date. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing, and we have several people who have signed up to speak. So we will start with David Nolan, and Stephen Richard will be next. Please state your name and your address.
David Dolan, address 3025 Old Pioneer Road. I am in opposition of this for the main reason. First of all, there is a blind corner there. You come around that corner, it is a road hazard. Folks that have this property even have a mirror on that property so they can see to get out onto the road. They did not put up the mirror. The mirror was put up by previous owners, but the mirror is still up and the mirror is necessary. My daughter, who lives next door, she wrote an opposition letter. Her address is 3045. Her request is that she's wondering why they're rezoning for a piece of property in Arizona, that parcel, to have 2 RVs on it, if that's all we're going to do. I did speak with the gentleman that owned the property before this came up, and he actually told me at that time they were wanting to put 6 RVs on it, and that they intended to keep the property a few years and then sell it and move to Texas. He also asked about getting electrical bootlegging in rather than do it legally. I do oppose this. I have been in Littlefield for 9 years. This road cannot stand more traffic. We had to go to quite expense to get this road brought up to county standards out of our own personal money several years ago. I did contribute to that. I also contributed equipment to it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Stephen Richard, is that correct? And the next one will be Gary Dunway. Your name and your address, please.
Hello, my name is Stephen Richards. I live at 901 North Joshua Tree Avenue, Littlefield. I'm opposed to this, as many of my neighbors are in this area. We live in a residential area, thus Virgin Valley Acres Estates. We would like to keep this area as a residential area. I was down here earlier last year to oppose another RV park trying to go in there. We have plenty of RV parks in the area. We have one with about 110 spaces that is under construction right now, and along with that, there's much other land commercially zoned and otherwise for RV parks in the area. We moved here to be in a nice, quiet residential area, and we do not want or need another RV park. Our road, as David mentioned, has plenty of traffic on it right now. It is not county maintained, and we have a bad enough time with people just driving around looking for things and looky-loos, if you will, and to add RVs and the additional traffic this would cause would be a great hindrance to everybody that lives further on down the road that is there now. Thank you for your time. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Gray Dunaway. And the next person will be, looks like Brent Macon. State.
Gary Dunaway, 3469 Scarlett O'Hara in Littlefield. Just a year ago and stuff, one was denied up the road from this, another RV park, all for the same reasons. The road is not set up for uses of RVs coming in and out. It's narrow road. Even passing cars right now, sometimes you got to slow down and pull over on the narrower spots. So it's not designed for heavy road use in a residential area going past a church on the same road. And if they're, how many spots are they going to put in there? You know, we don't know if it's going to be 2 or 200 that they can squeeze in there. So I oppose this.
Thank you. Brent Macon. Name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Brent Macon, and I live right next door to where this would be going in. My address is 3147 Old Pioneer Road. The mirror has been mentioned. I believe we should, can you show this again? How much of this property is actual usable property? The back part of my lots, I own the 2 that are next to him, and I can put 2 RVs on my property without getting a special use permit by leaving it zoned how it is and putting in an extra septic tank. And so I plan on building a home on it. I have a permit for my RV that I'm stay in when I come down here in the winter, and I plan on building a home. As far as the property goes that he's proposing, he's put on his application that this is a vacant property. Well, it's not vacant. If you look at the drawings, it's straightforward, straight line on the south side of the proposed property. There's a garage that is about this far onto the property with the driveway into the other property that he just bought. He bought a little triangular piece, and what used to be 2 lots, he or the prior people that sold it to him just combined it to 1 lot. And so we have a petition that we put up, and we'd like to submit that to you. And could I have more time, please?
Just to,
We have 113 signatures, and there's a lot of people that are very passionate about keeping this residential agricultural. And there's a lot of issues with the setbacks of the existing property. That's, the house is sitting next to the fence, the garage is on the opposite property. So there is a lot of issues that need to be addressed.
Okay,
So
thank
I
you,
am-
sir. Thank you. Now, is the applicant here, and do you wish to speak? Your name and your address, sir.
Good morning. My name is Jeremiah Rich. This is my wife, Denia Rich. We currently live at 3159 Old Pioneer Road, which is directly south of this parcel that we're speaking of. So just to cover some of the concerns really quick that they had mentioned. So when they're talking about the mirror that's out there on the roadway, that is correct. It was put up by the previous owner, and there is a very heavy tree line that's on the way in the road, so it does create that blind corner trying to pull out. But at the same time, at the time when we try to develop or get this property moved into it, all that will be excavated out in order to make a clear turnout onto the roadway. And so as of right now, of course, the biggest concern is how many trailers are going to be on the property. And of course, as you guys can see, is on the application of what we're trying to do is the 2 spots. And those 2 spots that are located on the property are going to be on the south side of the property, which directly border the property that we live at currently. So the only people that it's going to directly affect is us. But since we live there, we have no issue with it, of course. So now, as far as that, me and Steve actually get along. I feel pretty decent. He's one of the ones that's opposing it, and we actually own a house further down the road as well too. And I'm sure he can attest to it as well too. There's road issues up and down that road all the time. But even though it's not county maintained, we always try to maintain even up that part of the road as well too, the other houses that we own. And so we've always tried to keep everything going. So.
In regards to the signatures, we do have people that have stated that our neighbor, the opposing one, went to the bar and got those signatures. So some of those signatures are not from residents that actually live in our city. I have a proof of that. Our neighbors have called us and told us about that. And in regards to, I know that it's probably, they don't know this, but my uncle's fighting cancer, starts chemo on the 19th, and he needs care. My mother's really sick, so the 2 spots are actually for our elderly family members who they need constant care. Of course, that's not something that we should disclose to the public, but if they must know and be deceptive with their lives, we must address that as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. If you would remain at the podium for a minute, I do have a couple of questions. So you're saying that the obstruction that is causing the mirror to be on the road is trees?
Yes.
Correct, yes.
So you're going to take the trees out, which will eliminate that problem?
Correct, yeah. So currently on the parcel, there's 2 driveway entrances that come in, and they're both only roughly about 8 feet wide. And so to even make it possible to bring a trailer in, we actually have to widen that all. And we actually had to use the Makeham's property to actually pull on there to get our trailer on there that's currently there right now. And so because it's too narrow. So that's our whole thing, is we actually have to go through, remove all those trees, get the entryway actually wide enough to even pull down onto the property.
So are you saying that what you're going to do is widen the road?
Not widen the road, widen the entryway onto the property. So our driveway, we're going to widen the driveway in order to make it so we can pull in it and onto it without any issues.
Yes, and there is a fence right now obstructing it, so we would take that out, and the trees.
And right now you're saying that you only want 2 trailers,
Correct.
but you're asking for an RV park.
No, so per the application process, if we're trying to do it the right way, right? If we have more than 1 trailer there, we need to apply for a special use permit.
In order to do
In
that.
order to do it. However, due to the way that you guys have the application, it states that more than 2 RVs is considered an RV, or more than
Well,
1 is
yeah.
considered an RV park application.
Sorry.
So that's what the confusion in the community is. There's obviously a lot going on, and we just want the 2. And so because of the application and the process of the way that you guys have it stated, it states that it's an RV park.
Okay, thank you. Any commissioners have any questions? Commissioner Alexander?
No question, but just to reiterate, for the public here, it's not a zoning change.
No.
It is a special permit.
Correct.
Correct.
So it does not change the zoning on that property. I just wanted to point that out.
Correct. It will still stay the agricultural residential.
Commissioner Bradshaw?
I have a question for staff. So with the special use permit being an RV park, how many actual units could in the future be placed?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Bradshaw, being an RV park, you can put as many spaces as the property would allow. I would recommend if the commission wants to limit it to just the two, that they could put that condition on there saying it's an RV park with a limit of 2 spaces. Being an RV park, they still need to meet all of our RV park standards. So they would have to complete a site plan, they have to meet the minimum space requirements, utilities have to be done properly according to our commercial RV park standards. Even though it's only for 2 spaces, it would still need to meet those standards. But you, as a commission, could limit it to just the 2 spaces or however many spaces you guys would like to put on it.
Thank you.
And then to the applicant, so would you be okay with the stipulation that there are only 2 RV spots for this condition, this use permit?
Because from our understanding, even if we want to do more than 2, we actually have to go back through and apply to do an actual RV park, from my understanding. Is that right? So it's like, even if we wanted to, so if we got approved for the 2, and even later on, if we did want to do more, there's a whole nother RV park application process that we have to actually go through to get approved.
But it sounds like you have to do that application anyway.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Bradshaw, that is correct. This is that process. So anything over one RV on a property requires that RV park status. And so they're going to have to get this special use permit along with an RV park plan, the site plan drawn up, and complete all the RV park standards, even if it's just for 2 spaces.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much. I'll call for a motion.
I move that we approve item number 3 with staff recommendations, and hold it to 2 stalls.
Second. Okay.
I have a motion by Commissioner Bradshaw, seconded by Commissioner Patillo. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Madam Chair, did we close the public hearing?
Good question.
No, I have not. And I would like to close the public hearing, and thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
I got bogged down in the details. Okay, so that passes, and we will move on to item number 4. If I can find it. By Amy Patsy.
Item number 4 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of a portion of assessor's parcel number 402-30025 from an AR agricultural residential zone to a C2H highway commercial zone for a hotel, retail shopping center, dining, and RV resort in the Littlefield vicinity. Staff has received 1 letter of support and 1 letter of opposition. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
I have noticed that we've been leaving the standard commission from the recommendations out of our motions, and we need to add it back in. Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing and ask if the applicant is present, and do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Only if you...
No, your name and your
My
address,
name is
please.
George Hasiotis. I represent the developer. I'm with Arizona Land and Water Resources in Kingman. I work
Sir,
with
would you please move closer to the microphone so we can hear you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, George Hasiotis. I'm with Arizona Land and Water Resources, LLC in Kingman. I work with John Gall as a business partner. We represent the parties who would like to develop this parcel. And I'm only here to answer any questions you may have. You have the package, and staff has the package as well.
Thank you. Be seated, and we have any questions, we'll ask.
Thank you.
Also, I have a request to speak from Jeff Howard.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Howard, 8550 West Desert Inn Road in Las Vegas. I am a real estate agent who represents the seller selling the land to the developer. I have a letter here to present, and my iPad won't open, so I was going to show it. I will also just read it from a neighbor as well, who also is a is familiar with the area and knows the owner of the property. Dear esteemed commissioners of the Mojave County Planning and Zoning Commission, I'm writing to you today to stand in support of the rezoning of a portion of assessor's parcel number 402-3025 from an AR to a C2H highway commercial zone for a hotel, retail shopping center, dining, and RV resort in the Littlefield vicinity, Mojave County, Arizona. As a property owner within 300 feet of this parcel, we believe the rezoning will be beneficial to the community by providing new jobs, additional housing, more food options, and help stimulate the local economies. Signed by Littlefield Properties Foursquare General Manager Bob Frisbee. He lives really close to the property. Also, as a real estate developer, as has been stated in other meetings here, this area is growing, and this is a great use. There's a Las Vegas company looking to move out there and build more than just a business, but sort of a community around their business. And that community space isn't available in something like Las Vegas, so they'll have people coming and participating in their business and helping to grow the economy. So I too am in favor of it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners? Thank you, sir. I will close the public hearing and ask for...
I'm sorry, just one last thing is that the area plan does call for this to be commercial. And I wanted to show that, but my iPad wouldn't let me.
That's okay. We understand. I will call for a motion. No one wants to make a motion?
I move that we approve number 5
With-
with staff
with-
recommendations.
thank you.
Number 4, excuse me.
Second.
Number 4 with staff recommendations.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Bradshaw, seconded by Commissioner Patillo. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. And I do believe I did close the public hearing that time, did I not? Item number 5, staff report by Peggy Clements.
Item number 5 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 402-77010S from an AR4A agriculture residential 4-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR agriculture residential zone to allow for a minor land division in the scenic vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. I have no requests to speak, so is the applicant present and do you wish to speak? I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Move that we approve item number 5 with staff recommendations.
I have a motion by Commissioner Bradshaw, seconded by Commissioner Hassett. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion is approved. Item number 6, staff report, Amy Patsy.
Item number 6 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 402-64135 from an RE10A residential recreation 10-acre minimum lot size zone to an R1 20M single-family residential 20,000 square foot minimum lot size zone to allow for residential subdivision in the Littlefield vicinity. Staff has received 11 letters of opposition to date. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Is the applicant present and do you wish to speak? Okay. Then I have a request to speak from Don Larson, and I have, the next will be Brandon Larwell. So Don Larson? Oh, you filled out a request, okay. Brandon Larwell. Larwell, is that correct? Larwell. I was close. And the next one will be Jamie.
My name's Brandon Lurwell, 573 North Sierra Bonita Lane. Thank you for your time, Commission. I'm highly opposed to this proposal. This was up before the board of last year and was denied. They tried to do a high-density RV park down here. The main reason I'm opposed is for health and safety. It's a single-lane road, very hard to get in and out of. It's in a wetland, or not designated wetland, but near the river. They're already showing high fecal counts of bacteria in the water already, and they're proposing less than half-acre density. We do not know the actual size of the plat and the acreage enveloped in this proposal and zone change. And there's no egress for emergency vehicles in and out. DS water, we're not even sure if they can supply that or fire protection. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Jamie Lerwell? I announce that you're next in line to speak so that you don't have to walk that long ways and we don't have to wait.
Sorry, and my legs take a little bit too. My name is Jamie Lerwell, 573 North Sierra Bonita Lane as well. I agree with my husband as well. The roadway in our area is private, and so the impact with 20,000 square feet lots would be a huge impact for us on cost on maintenance. As well with the safety issue at the single road in and out. I don't know if the staff can tell us, but do you know how many acres are on this lot or this rezone?
I'm not sure. Staff, do you know how many
Was it on-
acres are included in this?
Chairman Gillette, it is 19.06 acres.
Okay.
19.
So that would substantially double the impact in that area. Area homeowners were told once that a minimum of 1 acre in that area for septic systems. So that's a concern. That's a lot of, I mean, if they, obviously that goes back to your septic application and such. That would, I couldn't clarify that. I couldn't get a hold of anybody to answer that question either. That's just what we were told in the past. And it's close to the waterway as well, so if we have that many septic systems right by the river would be bad. Wildlife migration area, we have seen turtles in the area, and I think that that should be considered as well. And that's all I have. So I am opposed of this rezone. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the owner, would you please come to the podium? Have you addressed any of these items? Water, the sewage?
First of all, my name is Don Larson. I represent Vector Management, LLC, which is a small family-owned LLC. We've owned the property for approximately 20 years. We bought the property with full intention of expanding it, of developing at some point. We got old. We're 20 years older now, and so we're looking to try to do something with our property. It was mentioned that we've been before you before. We have. We've worked, we looked at the county development plan. We've worked with the Planning and Zoning Commission. We've worked with you folks. We've worked with every state and every county and every federal compliance rule that we need to and intend to develop our property. That has been done once, and all of the issues that have been brought up by these folks, which we appreciate, understand, they have been addressed before. Now, what we're asking for this time is a zoning change to allow half-acre lots, 20,000 square feet, which is a little under half, but considering roads and that, half-acre lots. We have not come forth yet with the plan of exactly where the lots will be. When we do, each and every issue that we addressed before, we will address again and go through the proper channels and make sure we're in compliance in every way with federal, state, county, local ordinances. We fully intend to do that. I am open for questions. I would make another comment. Over the 20 years we've been there, we've worked before with the county to try to, for example, there's approximately a mile road from Beaver Dam, end of asphalt, where the grade school is, the elementary school, to this location. And we worked before with the county to upgrade most of that mile road at our expense, mostly our expense, to bring it up to county standards. It is still gravel all the way in, and once you get to the last 2/10 of a mile or so, there still needs to be work done. We all understand that, but we have worked in the past to bring it all the way to that point. So we intend to address any and all issues when we bring forth our development plan. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Do you have any questions? Commissioner Pertillo?
Yeah, what do you foresee being able to do for wastewater with only half-acre lots?
Depends on what the ordinances and the standards are.
Well, I can tell you it's probably a sewage collection system.
The county plan, from my understanding, the current county plan for development actually shows higher density than we're asking for. Understanding that point, if we cannot percolate and get septic tanks for the half-acre sized lots, then we will put in a combination of waste.
I don't think you'll be able to get your certificate
And
of sanitary facilities.
we will do what we
with
applied for
half-acre lots.
before,
Okay.
which is a waste plant accommodating what we need to. We understand that issue, and it has to be addressed, and it will be when we go back through, planning and zoning process.
Commissioner Bradshaw?
Yeah, I have several questions. Number one, so you've got, right now, by my count, there's approximately 50 lots out there on a single access. That creates an EMS problem, just on by default. And then you're going to add a possible 38 more lots to that property, to that area. It seems like, do you have a plan for a secondary access? Because that seems like an overreach for EMS services for a single access.
When that was addressed before, my understanding is that the road that's coming in now was widened to meet county standards, still is, and there was no secondary plan for an ingress egress. That road accommodates both. That's what was decided before. I suspect that would still be the circumstance. And I simply say that when we looked before at putting an RV park there, that was addressed and that was approved by this board and by planning and zoning up to this board with that access complying. Now we're applying for a lot less traffic than we were before. But we feel like we have a right to develop our property. And it has to be in some sort of an economically viable way. And so, yes, it will bring more housing there, but certainly not more traffic that size road wouldn't be able to handle. That's our feeling, and that's what was approved before, with much more traffic than is being requested now.
Okay, second question, floodplain. I know when I looked at the floodplain map, this area has a floodplain on it. It's somewhat unmapped, and I know for a fact that this property's been flooded before. And to be clear, it was probably when the Quail Creek Dam broke. So that was a 1,000-year flood. It wasn't a 100-year flood. But needless to say, I know that it's been flooded before. How do you plan to mitigate that?
My answer to that is we'd been there through the 100-year flood and through the 500-year flood, and never once did the water flooded the whole riverbed area, did not get up on our property, did not put any neighborhood homes, including our property, the area we would be developing, in any danger. Did not do that. Got up in the floodplain itself, it filled all that up. But it widens out. It widens out in the riverbed, and it got all the way to that in the 500-year flood, but never rose. And we wouldn't have any structures that would be in, hundreds of feet potentially from even the edge of the property, much less in the riverbed. So, I think that was properly addressed the previous time, a year ago, and would likely be addressed again when we go through the process. And I don't know how to answer other than that.
Water services.
How to address floods,
So
except I don't
is
think
there
that-
water services here, or will this be on a well package? How?
No. These, we worked with DS Water when we were looking at the RV park. And we worked out with DS Water how they would service the RV park. This will be substantially less, and we worked out an agreement with them that would work. We would have to put in a bigger line and so forth, and we worked that out for the volume of water that would need to come to that area, including the RV park. Now, we're looking at much less water usage. We will go back again, as we've already started, to work with DS Water, to work with the electrical company, to do the things we need to do. But in preliminary discussions with DS Water, I see absolutely no issue with them in servicing the number of lots that we'd be dealing with. It's not that big of a volume. And if necessary, we'll do the things to enlarge the line to deal. But I guess the simple answer is DS Water has the capability of providing the amount of water that's necessary there. Yeah. Other questions?
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
Madam Chair,
Commissioners?
if I could just say a few things to help clarify a little bit as well. So this is the first step in this process where they're asking for a rezone. They would, if they get the rezone for the smaller lot sizes, they would need to still go through the subdivision plat process, and that has our land division regulations. And part of those land division regulations have requirements for wastewater treatment, any parcels that are going to be created that are less than 1 acre have to be hooked up to a wastewater treatment facility. And so that would be the case in this instance, as well as has to have a will serve letter from the water utility in the area. The other thing is it will also go through the review of our flood control department, and they would need to meet all the requirements that they would have as well. So it would still go through those processes. The other thing is it will go through our public works process as well for the roads. Part of our requirements for subdivisions is that they would need to improve the roads within the subdivision, and any roads leading to the subdivision as well would need to be improved to our county standards. And so that's something that would be addressed at that subdivision review process as well.
Thank you.
Ma'am, could I, one more?
Sure, just one more.
Thank you. He's more articulate than me, so I would just simply say, again, they're the experts in this. Our intention is to completely comply with everything that needs to be complied with. We don't want to do it any other way.
Okay,
So-
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to close the public hearing and make Scott happy, and ask for a motion.
So my concern with this property in this area is there's another tract of land down there that is a sizable tract. If we approve this, it does create a precedent for smaller lots, and again, another 50 or some odd lots. I move that we deny this application, number 6.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Bradshaw, seconded by Commissioner Barlow. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Hey.
I think we need a roll call vote.
Commissioner Barlow. Commissioner Bradshaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Helms.
Nay.
Commissioner Hassett. Commissioner Hubbard. Commissioner Patillo.
Nay.
Commissioner Alexander.
Nay.
Commissioner Morse.
Aye.
And Chairperson Gillette.
I'm going to say nay.
Okay, it's 6-3. The motion fails.
The motion failed. Okay, so I need a new motion. That one failed.
Chairman?
Or wait. If it failed, that means we voted it down.
Need a new motion.
Where am I? Yeah, denial down. So we now need a new motion to approve.
Correct.
I would like to make a point. In the staff notes, it does indicate that this would not be setting a precedence because the neighboring area does contain other densities similar to the above process or the proposed action. And with the subdivision requirements that are being met, I'm confident that the roads, the water, the septic will all be dealt with and satisfied. So I make a motion to approve item 6 with staff recommendation.
Second.
Okay, I don't know who seconded it first.
I might have.
You might have, okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Alexander, seconded by Commissioner Helms. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
I think the ayes have it.
They do.
So this has been approved. So moved. Item number 7, staff report by Peggy Clements.
Item number 7 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 225-14019 from an AR-5A agriculture residential 5-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR agriculture residential, CRE, commercial recreation, and CMO, commercial manufacturing, open lot storage zones for a storage facility, campground, and residence in the Mojave Valley vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. I have no requests for anyone to speak. Is the applicant here, and do you wish to speak? Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing and ask if any of the commissioners have any questions. Hearing none, I'll call for a motion.
Move to approve with staff recommendations.
Thank you. I need a second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Patillo, seconded by Commissioner Alexander. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Item number 8, staff report by Peggy Clements.
Item number 8 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 225-32049 from a C2-1A general commercial 1-acre minimum lot size zone to a C2H highway commercial zone to allow for auto repair and servicing in the Mojave Valley vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Once again, I have no applicants to speak, so I'll ask if the applicant is here, and do you wish to speak? Okay, thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing and ask if any of the commissioners have any questions. Hearing none, I'll call for a motion.
Motion to approve item 8 with the staff recommendations.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alexander, seconded by Commissioner Patillo. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item is approved. Item number 9, staff report Alex Bolin.
Item number 9 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 306-26008K from an AR-10A agricultural residential 10-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR agricultural residential zone to allow for a minor land division in the Golden Valley vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Is the applicant here, and do you wish to speak? I'm here to stand. Thank you. I'll close the public hearing and ask if any of the commissioners have any questions. Commissioner Alexander.
I do for staff. I noted here that it's a request for a rezone, but in the first paragraph it says to determine whether approval should be granted for a special use permit.
Chairman Gillette, Commissioner Alexander, that is an error on staff's part, but it is an application, it is a request for a rezone. So the introduction there and as well as the staff recommendation of the rezone is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Then I'll call for a motion.
Move to approve item 9 with staff recommendation.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, I think that was Commissioner Hellam. I have a motion by Commissioner Alexander, seconded by Commissioner Hellams. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item is approved. Item number 10, staff report by Peggy Clements.
Item 10 is an evaluation of a request for an extension of time for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 317-49108 to allow for additional time for completion of the conditions of BOS resolution number 2021-048, allowing for a billboard in the White Hills vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Is the applicant here, and do you wish to speak? Come to the podium.
Good morning again, Honorable Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Kathy Tackett Hicks. I'm acting as the owner's agent. The next 4 items are SUPs for extension of times for billboards. They're all located around the White Hills Road Access 93. This is my second time before you asking for an extension. This will be the last time that I ask you on behalf of these people. The billboards, in this case, there's been a few things which have promulgated this. All 4 of these, and I do have the next 4 items for the extension, are located on White Hills. They were pivoted on that office building, which has now been opened in the last year. The ADOT permits have been received for them. You saw in that one picture, the billboards have already been purchased. The last 6 months, the contractor who was supposed to do all 4 of them was unable to perform with that. So now we've had to go back, get extensions, and they do intend to put up those billboards. If you have any questions, I do believe all the work is done. We just have to have extensions to complete the construction now. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions from any of the commissioners?
This a blanket statement for the next 4 items?
Well, sort of. I'm happy to say it 4 times. So.
Oh, thank you.
And there was also some deaths and change of ownership on the parcel, so it's been a little bit crazy, but the permits are there, the billboards are there. So this will be, like I said, the last time I will ask for an extension.
Thank you. If you don't mind, could you just stay there, and then we'll just go
Sure.
through the 4?
Yeah.
So I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion. Oh, okay, Commissioner Hubbard.
How many times are we going to have to extend this? Do you oppose coming back when you have everything ready, so you don't have to have an extension, just come back and get it done?
My comment on that is I think I understand the SUP process for a billboard, there's several steps that have to happen. They only give you a year. The last extensions didn't even give years. They gave a year. They gave like 6 or 8 months.
Could you come back when it's ready?
I am not going to come back before you on these 4 billboards. I'm telling you that either they will be constructed as I'm telling you they will be, or the owner will have to do something else.
Commissioner Bradshaw?
I have a quick question. Are, excuse me, with these billboards, and that, obviously you've purchased them, are you okay with the stipulation in the motion that allows for no digital billboards?
Yeah, I don't think these are, I'm aware of 3 billboards that are not digital. So I haven't asked the owner about that, but I do believe that would be okay. No, those digital ones are something else.
Thank you. Commissioner Gillette, I move that we approve this item number 10 with staff recommendations and the stipulation that there are no digital billboards on site.
I need a second.
Second?
Oh, okay. Did you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Bradshaw, seconded by Commissioner Barlow. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
sorry, we have some concerns from our attorney of whether or not we can amend the previous resolution if it's just an
fair point.
extension.
It is an extension,
Yeah, this is an extension.
Okay, well, that works for me.
and I
I'd like to
rescind
make
my
a
motion.
I would like to make a motion to grant the extension as per staff recommendations for item 10.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion that we need to deal with.
I rescinded it.
Rescinded, okay. And now I have a new motion by Commissioner Hassett, seconded by Patillo. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. We're going to move on to item number 11, staff report. Peggy Clements.
Item 11 is an evaluation of a request for an extension of time for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 317-49101 to allow for additional time for completion of the conditions of BOS Resolution Number 2021-054, allowing for a billboard in the White Hills vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing, and since we've already heard from the applicant, is there something else you wish
Well,
to add?
I just wanted to let the commission know that I've seen 3 of those signs, and you saw the one. It is not digital. So I understand the concern. I actually am in agreement with that. In this case, I don't think there's a risk.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask if any commissioners have any further questions. Hearing none, I'm going to ask for a motion.
I move that we approve item number 11 with staff recommendations.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Bradshaw, seconded by Commissioner Patillo. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Was that a nay?
No, that was an aye.
It was an aye, okay. Okay, this has been approved. Item number 12, staff report by Peggy Clements.
Item 12 is an evaluation of a request for an extension of time for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 317-49058 to allow for additional time for completion of the conditions of BOS Resolution Number 2021-070, allowing for a billboard in the White Hills vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing and ask, are there any questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I make a
Motion
motion.
to approve with staff recommendation.
And you want a
Second.
second? Okay, I have a second. I have a motion by Commissioner Alexander, seconded by Commissioner Helms. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. Item number 13, staff report by Peggy Clements.
Item 13 is an evaluation of a request for an extension of time for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 317-49102 to allow for additional time for completion of the conditions of BOS Resolution Number 2020-177, allowing for a billboard in the White Hills vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Are there any questions? Any statements? I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Make a motion to approve item 13 with staff recommendations.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hassett, seconded by Commissioner Patillo. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Item number 14, Amy Patsy.
Item number 14 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessors parcel number 351090044 from an AR 36A agricultural residential 36-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR 8A agricultural residential 8-acre minimum lot size and an AR 5A agricultural residential 5-acre minimum lot size zones to allow for a minor land division in the Golden Valley vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Going to open the public hearing. Is the applicant here, and do you wish to speak? Thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing and ask the commissioners, do you have any questions? Then I will call for a motion.
Move to approve item 14 with staff recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alexander, seconded by Commissioner Hassett. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. Item number 15, staff report by Amy Patsy.
Item 15 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessors parcel number 203-15077 from an A general zone to a C2H 5A highway commercial 5-acre minimum lot size zone to allow for a commercial store, truck stop, and vehicle fuel stations in the Wickiup vicinity. Staff has received one letter of request for additional conditions of approval. Staff is recommending approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing, and I do have two people. Is the applicant here? I will, if you want to just answer questions.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Kathy Tackett Hicks. The applicant's actually Ray Stadler, who couldn't be here, and he did want me to relay to you that he's aware of that letter, and the owner's in agreement with the request for the wall, block wall, and the pavement of the area. I just wanted to relay that to you. I may be able to answer any other questions if they need to be answered.
Okay, thank you.
Is that request, that letter, is that Laura?
Yeah, Laura, that's who I'm calling now, is Laura Palvermasha. Oh, my goodness, I'm sorry.
There's no way you got that right.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay. My name is Laura Pulvermacher. I reside at 18172 Saguaro Sam Drive, Wickiup, Arizona. And if they're going to approve doing the paving and the block wall, then that's I never approved or disapproved them doing it, just that they put the stipulations in. I would also concerned about their trash because we have, with this one going in, there's 5 gas stations within a half a mile stretch now, that they do something a little bit better with their trash through, because it is a gas station. I don't know what they can do through with the trash, but the trash is all over the friggin' road from people, because people are pigs. I don't know if there's something that can be put into a stipulation for the trash, because I didn't mention about that, thinking about it later.
There probably is a department that you can call and complain, which would
ADOT.
take care, ADOT would be in charge of that?
Because it's US 93.
Madam Chair, Commission, if there's trash on the parcels, like the actual gas stations have a bunch of trash on their property, it'd be our code enforcement team through planning and zoning. So she could call our department and we would send one of our code enforcement officers to go and inspect it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not on their property. It has blown off to everybody else's property.
Then I believe if you explain that, I'm sure they will have some sort of condition that they can place on that.
Okay, then
But thank
that is all I wish to speak. Thank you for your time.
And then I have a Joy Lafrenta. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to close the public hearing and ask if the commissioners have any questions.
Yeah, I do.
Commissioner Hubbard.
Is this going to be just a block wall, or is this going to be a sound barrier? How high is this block wall? You know, that's pretty open-ended. If it's a sound barrier, are they going to make it look nice?
Yeah, good morning. It's my understanding that, Chairman and Commissioner, that this is just a standard block wall. I did see in the letter that they wanted an 8 or a 10-foot wall, which I think the commitment is that will comply with the county regulations, and I don't think they would want it. I don't think they allow a 10-foot wall, but 6 foot is standard. Is that correct? If staff can please clarify. Would that be suitable?
How that works.
Madam Chair, Commission, as far as planning and zoning is concerned, we do require a view obscuring fence, probably on that rear side of the property. Any properties that are abutting this property that are not compatible would require that view obscuring fence, and we require a minimum of 6 feet as far as our planning and zoning ordinance is concerned. If the applicant wants to go higher, they can go higher. It would require anything over 7 feet. Anything over 7 feet would require engineering and an additional permit with the county. So,
Okay, thank you.
I don't even know what a sound barrier would be, but
What's that mean?
I think the owner can certainly commit to a 7-foot wall, but I don't know anything about a sound barrier. I would also say that's highly unusual.
What do you mean by sound barrier? Because now I'm curious how you.
If you travel the freeways down anywhere down south,
Yeah, they're 20 feet tall.
yeah, they're high.
Well, that's
And
not gonna
And it keeps they don't hear the trucks and the air brakes and everything else going on. And is it going to, is a 6 or 7 foot wall going to be ample for the lady or for the?
Yeah, that's what I just asked. 7 foot seemed to be good, but since you
That's
brought
gonna-
up the sound barrier, now she's...
That's going to make them happy?
Well, the problem is, on that stretch, there are numerous trucks and travels. The sound is coming from the roadway, not
Can
specifically
I get a
on
clarification
sites.
from staff really quick? You said that a view obscuring fence is required for properties abutting that, correct?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Hesse, that is correct, but view obscuring doesn't necessarily mean block wall.
Right.
View obscuring could be a chain link fence with slats as well.
I guess my point to this is that we all know that engineering is significantly expensive, and for 12 inches, I don't know that I would incur those charges. So before we go putting stipulations on the applicant, you're going to require view obscuring. The applicant is already committed to a block wall, so at minimum, we could expect a 6-foot block wall, correct? Because it's all within what's allowed on that property and what the project consists of.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Hesse, that is correct. I think the only thing would be is if the commission wanted to stipulate saying that that view obscuring fence had to be a block wall instead of just the...
Which they've already agreed to a block wall. That was my clarification, that we're not going to erect a sound barrier or a requirement of that.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a motion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
I move to approve item 15 with staff recommendations and the additional condition that their view obscuring structure be a block wall in compliance with Mojave County requirements.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Patillo, seconded by Commissioner Hassett. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Item number 18, staff report by Amy Patsy.
Item number 18 is an evaluation of a request for an amendment to the Mojave County General Plan from a rural development area land use designation to a general commercial land use designation and a rezone from an SDC, Special Development Commercial Zone, to a CMO, commercial manufacturing open lot storage zone for assessors parcel number 313-43242 and 313-43243 to allow for open and covered RV storage in the Valley Vista vicinity. Staff has received 3 letters of opposition. To date, staff is recommending denial as this is considered spot zoning and does not align with the general plan.
I'm going to open the public hearing. Is the applicant present, and do you wish to speak? Come to the podium, please. State your name and your address.
Morning. Sherry Merriweather, 3890 East Cali Lucero, Kingman, Arizona. So regarding this application, which is a little confusing to me why I'm meeting so much opposition, nonetheless, it is a little over half an acre, sits right behind a bar and an RV, little RV park. A lot of people are familiar with it. It's on Route 66 there, about 10 miles out of town, just past the Valley Vista turnoff. We have already done the dirt work, fenced it, gravelled it, brought in a few containers. We're getting requests from neighbors and so on, and people in the area to be able to store their RVs so that they're not parking them on the roads in Valley Vista. They're not cramming their driveways with them. And we have this little yard, which is secure and well lit at night. And we're asking for permission to be able to park them there. It says that it's, according to the letter, the information I received, that it does comply with Mojave County General Plan. It appears adequate for the intended action. It has legal access and has no significant environmental impact. So I'm asking that you consider that and that you give me permission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Are there any questions from the commissioners? Thank you, ma'am. I have a question for staff. Your recommendation is denial because of not complying with the surrounding zoning. And yet she says that there's commercial right close to this? Can someone answer that for me?
Chairman Gillette, so the property is currently zoned commercial, so it's zoned SDC, which is a special development commercial zone, which the special development is in regards to where parking is allowed on site. Otherwise, it's standard C2 or general commercial uses. So they're requesting a rezone to CMO, which is commercial manufacturing and open lot storage, to allow for the outdoor storage aspect. And so because of that, there is not that other CMO type of use in the area. And so we would consider this to be spot zoning, and that's why we've recommended denial.
Any questions from the commissioners?
This lot is intended to allow residents of that community to park their RVs there. Like those would be the people utilizing the space, correct?
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I move to deny this item based on staff recommendations.
I second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner by Commissioner Padillo, seconded by Commissioner Bradshaw. All in favor say aye.
Chairman, if sorry, just if I might provide a little additional information. The SD zoning, as Mr. Gunderson mentioned, is related to parking for these commercial properties. So, and that requirement in that SD zoning is that the parking for all of these properties be, is it 100 feet behind the front of the business?
I can't remember the exact distance, but yeah, you can't park in the front of the lot. Parking has to be in the back of the lot.
So they created this SD zone for these specific properties that was specific to parking and to prevent parking up front and to have that up front. So that, I think, was a key factor in staff's recommendation for denial on this, is that it basically contradicts by approving this, you're approving an outdoor storage which would contain a lot of parking, which would contradict the neighboring parcels. So I just wanted to provide that additional clarification.
Is there any further discussion? Then I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
I think we need
Two.
It was just, was there
There's
three?
just two of us. We lost.
Three
but
nays?
just putting my
thank
opinion
you.
out there.
Thank you. I've been struggling today. I'm like trying to listen.
Pass it, nay.
Helms, nay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the only two nays.
Three nays.
Oh,
Sorry.
Nay, nay, nay.
3 H's or nays.
okay. So this has been denied. Item number 19, staff report by Amy Patsy.
Item number 19 is an evaluation of a request for an extension of time for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 310-26060 to allow for additional time for the completion of Board of Supervisors Resolution 2022-214, allowing for a wireless communication facility in the Kingman vicinity. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing, and I do know that the applicant is here. Would you like to speak? Sure. Come to the podium and give us your name and your address.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. My name is Mike Powers. I work for and represent Atlas Tower One LLC, and additionally, essentially T-Mobile as well on this particular application. 3002 Bluff Street, Suite 300, Boulder, Colorado is our address. I hope this is a quick and easy one. I just wanted to confirm that in December of 2022, we were approved. We're not requesting any changes to that approval. The approval and our lease with the community college had a 12-month term, and we had expected to complete this project during that time period. However, if you read the telecom news, not just T-Mobile, but all of the major mobile network operators in the U.S. had substantial layoffs during the year of 2023, and unfortunately, this project was not canceled but pushed into the future. So we are now working on getting our project completed within the next 12 months. I do have the support of the community college via both Jennifer Dixon, who's the VP of Administrative Services, and also their CFO, Linda Green. If you have any questions, I'll stay at the podium, but otherwise I appreciate your time on this matter.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, thank you, sir. I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a vote.
Make a motion to approve item 19 per staff recommendations.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hassett, seconded by Commissioner Helms. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Item number 20, staff report by Alex Bolin.
Item 20 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 333-29080 from an AR 36A agricultural residential 36-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR 11A agricultural residential 11-acre minimum lot size zone and an AR 5A agricultural residential 5-acre minimum lot size zone to allow for a minor land division in the Valley Vista vicinity. Staff received one petition with 13 signatures of opposition. Staff recommends approval with standard conditions.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing and ask if the applicant is present. Thank you. I do have some requests to speak on this item. I have a Terry Schick. Would you please come to the podium and give us your name and your address?
My name is Terry Schick, 7281 East Stoneaxe Drive, Valley Vista. This rezone is a direct conflict with the zoning of existing, which is Ag 36A. We're at a limited amount of traffic right now. We're at the very back of Valley Vista. Right behind us is California. It's the main road that supplies traffic to the orchards that are now down from us, as well as access to this property. It's a dirt road. We are right on that dirt road, and the traffic the road is inadequate for the existing traffic, and if you increase the amount of cars there, it's going to be terrible for us with just dust attenuation. The other thing is that the property was rezoned once already from when the original parcel was done, which were 100-acre parcels that were downsized to the Ag 36. If in fact the idea of this is to downsize the property from agricultural use, which is very limited now in our area because of these rezones that have gone through, to make new subdivisions or new perhaps primary residential areas, from taking valuable ag land and cutting it into parcels, that's going to create all sorts of problems in the future. Because if this one downsizes to 5-acre parcels with 11-acre minimum, what's to say that in the future they don't ask for a rezone to rezone smaller? Now, we live in a subdivision that is the largest developed subdivision in Kingman. It's over 5,500 units. It's only probably 12 to 18% built out. If these people want to have a larger residence location, then buy multiple lots within the property that's right across the road from them. One of the things, we come from history, we come from Northern California, escaped from California to Arizona. One of the prime reasons we bought and purchased where we did at the very end of Valley Vista on Concho is because of lack of development behind us. It's ag land. We have cows that walk right from here to where y'all are sitting. I just cannot see why we need to destroy that possibility or what's existing now with a rezone for, and by the way, they didn't even bother to tell us what they're going to do with the property. Are they going to build on it right away? Are they going to build barns? Are they going to build, what's it going to be used for? I realize that 5-acre parcels means, I was a builder and developer in California for a long time. That to me means that they're going to build multiple houses to support one piece of property so that they can pay for their one piece of property with the downsizing of the other piece. It's obvious. The water, the power, the dust attenuation, the increase in demand on all those things. California, by the way, floods when we do have monsoons. If we ever have them again, our first experience with California when we moved here 7 years ago, we could have kayaked down California. It was that deep of water. That's the main road that supplies the traffic to this location. So there's no attenuation there. I can't see the reason to downsize a piece of ag land, which, thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next person is Sharon Schick.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Schick. I live at 7281 East Stoneaxe Drive, one of the parcels that would be affected by this. We delivered a petition with 14 of our neighbors that have also requested that this be denied. California, which is right behind the subdivision, is a very narrow, unmaintained road until it gets closer to where the nut farms are. It's very dusty. It's got very deep sand. It's going to just create all kinds of dust problems for us. The wind out there is very, very, very strong. And when it comes up, very often you can't see further than this out the back door. I think that would be a terrible thing to do to all of us that live on that street. Also, it's going to increase the traffic on Concho. Concho is the only road in and out of our subdivision. 5,500 lots, and there's one road. So if we keep breaking down these ag properties and these ranchettes, that increases that traffic that's going out Concho. It's the only way out of there. In case of an emergency, we're going to get in the UTV and go, cross country, because you're not going to get out. It's going to gridlock. So that's a safety concern for all of us, I think. It's also going to put a huge demand on our electrical and the water, and we all know that right now that's a big concern. We had several blackouts and outages last year. I'm really concerned. They're building out more and more of our subdivision, which is putting a demand, and now we're looking at, places behind our subdivision that are going to be drawing off the same. I'm sure that's why they're looking at putting it on California, because they're going to tap into our water and into our electrical. So that's a concern for us. I'm also concerned that this will set a precedence, that more and more out-of-state developers will be buying up this large parcel of ag lands back there, and they will be doing the same thing. If it's an easy process, they're going to do it. So we really would appreciate a denial of this, and I thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. And the next person is Rebecca Taylor.
Good morning, Board. My name is Rebecca Taylor. My address is 7125 Stoneaxe in Kingman. I am objecting to this being divided. It is sitting there with a 40-acre plot. They do not tell us what they wanted to do with it. There is, as the previous people have said, we have nothing but California. California is nothing but a dirt road. They bring a big tractor twice a year to try to grade that road to make it passable for the ATVs and other important equipment that needs to go down that road. It is not for that. There is no other way to get to that, but down Concho, we only have one road. So I think it would be a burden on the county, because I think the people would be looking to you to want you to put in another access road. I think they'll want you to keep up and to put, there is no electricity and no water on that parcel of land. It is agriculture. It is the cows, horses roam, they feed on that property. We get to enjoy seeing the livestock. So once again, I do object, along with most every neighbor on Stoneaxe.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, would the applicant like to come to the podium and answer some questions?
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Kathy Tackett Hicks. I'm acting as the owner's agent. I think there is some confusion with this because the access for this is not off of California. In fact, it's not even a recognized right-of-way at the county. I have no idea what those farmers are using it for. Here's a map of the split that I presented. I would remind the Commission this was created as part of the Mountain Vista final platting over 30 years ago. It's been a 40-acre site. I'm not changing the zoning. It stays AR agricultural residential. If there are existing grazing rights on the land, those will stay because these are at least 5-acre lots. If you look at the overall map for the area, see, so the green is the recognized right-of-way. This came from the county's GIS up here. The access for this is up here. And here's the easement which I showed, and they would come down. So absolutely, there's not going to be access from here. And it sounds like that's a horrible dirt road anyways. So we would use the access that's already there by the county on Nuttall Drive. It's not maintained by the county right now, but if you look at the overall map, these Mountain Vista lots, 40-acre lots that were subdivided 30 years ago in 93, many of them have already split down. A 5-acre lot stays with the general plan designation for rural, which is what this is. I can tell you, because I do this all the time, I was surprised at opposition from 6,000 square foot lots. Normally it's the other way around, where I may have some large lots and want to subdivide, break down. I do believe this is a reasonable request. I do not see any adverse impacts, but I'd be happy to speak with the owners. This opposition was very recent, just came in this week, so I'm happy to kind of walk through the issues with them, but I would ask for your approval.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion. And before I do that, let me just say this. All of us here on this commission understand when things are changing and people are objecting. And our hearts go out to you if you bought your property a long time ago and it was way distant and now it isn't. But we have to follow the rules and we have to follow what we are supposed to do. So I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item 20 with staff recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion by Alexander, seconded by Commissioner Patillo. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
So moved. Item number 21 is commissioners' comments. Do we have anything that we would like to discuss? Hearing none, I'm going to ask for the call to the public. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the call to the public? Having no more business to come before this commission, this meeting is adjourned.